share with. Okay. So there's always so much value in writing down everybody's story. And I find for me, I just can't remember it. There's so much going on in the world, right? I can barely remember what I did last week, but when I write the story down, I have such a better opportunity of retaining that information. Okay. So I'm going to share my slides. And like I say, I really hope you get some value. This is not one of those fast stories to the president's team, like in 2 years, 3 years. It took us 15 years to get to the president's team. There have been many, many ups and downs along the journey, because although the dots may go from start to finish like this, and we're still not finished, by the way, they might go like this, but along this journey, there are ups and downs until you get there. Okay. And this is part and parcel of life. It's part and parcel of Herbalife. It's part and parcel of business life. So, for those of you who are really, really new, you're going to get times where you're unsure. You're going to get times where you feel there's a bit of negativity. You're going to get times where you doubt yourself, where you're lacking confidence. But let me promise you, if you just plug into Mark Hughes, you plug into Jim Rohn, and you plug into the Herbalife system, you come to events, you get around the fire, you get around the people, you are going to, honestly, you're going to find it so much easier to stay engaged with everything and keep moving forward, and just keep using those products like crazy. So give me 1 second while I just share up my slide deck, and let's get this away. I hope you can all see this. So my background is that I was working when I was 25 years old. I was working as a lifeguard, and I was working as a personal trainer for the NHS, so the National Health Service, the hospitals in the UK. And my job was really to go around, and people who had like heart attacks, or they'd had maybe surgery on their hearts, they were referred to me for exercise to rehabilitate them into back to normal life. Okay. And it was okay. It wasn't too bad, but, there was never enough a month for the money, if that makes sense. Okay. So I was always, a few days short at the end of every month. There was no money, and then you'd have to wait, and then you get paid again. You go, thank goodness for that. And then you could start again. Right. So, by the way, these are neither pictures of me at work. This is actually the picture of me as a lifeguard on the left. That is not me as a lifeguard. That is actually me on a trip away with my friends. And the picture in the top right, I got off Google, because when you don't love your job, you don't tend to take many pictures. But when you love your job, you take lots of pictures. And that's why we have lots of pictures from Herbalife, because we really, really, really do love what we do. But it wasn't always like that. Okay. I didn't fall in love with Herbalife on day one. It wasn't like love at first sight. It was very much, it took me a few years. Okay. And I'm going to talk about that for you in a moment. But one of the things I always felt quite passionate about was that I didn't want to work until I was 65. That was something that was really, really ingrained in me early on, that I didn't want to work for 40 years to retire on 40% of my money that I'd been making. Okay. So that was really important. Work 40 hours a week for 40 years to retire on 40% of the money. That just didn't make sense to me from an early age. So I wanted to find another way. So I've always had ambition, and I've always wanted to be more than I currently was. And for that, I've invested in myself over the years to try and better myself. So this is really a picture that I saw, and I went, yeah, definitely 40 years of slavery or 5 years of hustle. And every single one of you have this opportunity right in front of you right now, regardless of your current level, whether you're at the president's team level or whether you're brand new. Do you have 5 years of hustle in you to really live an extraordinary life that this company can absolutely provide for you? Because you can't even believe, if you're brand new, you can't even imagine what's possible and what comes from within this company. So where did it start for me? Well, I was on a holiday. It was in Mallorca. I came walking along this marina. My two younger brothers had already been in Herbalife for 2 years. One had lost 4 stone, which is about, I want to say about 30 kilos, maybe something like that. Yeah, somewhere in that region, 25 kilos, lost 25 kilos on his nutrition plan. And the other one had put on around about 12 kilos of muscle mass. So they both had very, very different results. But my background, personal trainer, I was like, Herbalife isn't for me. I'm not taking those pills, potions, powders. That isn't what I want to do. I was like, just eat clean, train, exercise. But the actual fact was that I was carrying too much body fat at the time. So I was very not looking into Herbalife or wanting anything to do with it. But I was on this holiday. I came walking along this marina. My brother goes to me, "That's David Bevan's boat." I'm like, "David Bevan?" I thought he said David Beckham. Okay. So I was like, "David Beckham. Oh my goodness." No, David Bevan. I'm like, "Who's David Bevan?" And he's like, "Oh, he's a president's team member in Herbalife." David and Jane are now Chairman's Club, by the way. So if you're brand new and you don't know what Chairman's Club is, write down what is Chairman's Club. But just to give you a quick overview, there's only about 60, 65 of them in the whole of the world, of all of the distributors we have. They weren't on their boat at that time. I came walking past the following morning with my brothers. David and Jane were on. They'd flown in the night before. My brothers got on. They started talking to David and Jane because they knew them. I didn't. I stood off and I was like, "Not getting on there. They'll try and get me into this thing." And David came off, and David was just like, "Hey, look, we're going to go for a few drinks later on. If you want to come join us, come join us." David's from Wales. I'm from Wales. It was an easy decision. And I also thought, if he lives on a boat like that, or if he owns a boat like that, then he can definitely pay for the drinks this evening. And that was really, as a 25-year-old, what was in my head. So I went along. David did buy a few drinks that evening, but we had a really great conversation. And all he said to me was, he said, "Look, Justyn, I can't guarantee you'll do what we've done in Herbalife, but we can show you a way that you can make an additional income. But go home, try the products." And he's like, "But really try the products. Try them like your financial future depends upon it." Okay. So these are all good little lines for you to write down, by the way, because these are the lines he used on me. So I've used these lines with other people. Really try and use these products like your financial future depends upon it. I was like, wow. Okay. So I came home, got on a plan, dropped 11 kilos, felt great within 3 days. My energy went up in 3 days, felt amazing. And just decided, okay, I'm getting good results. Then some people start asking me, "Hey, what are you doing? You look like you've lost a little bit of weight. What's been going on?" And I just said, "This is what I'm doing." And I started referring to my brother because I still wasn't looking to get involved. But my brother lived 40 miles, which is maybe like 60 kilometers away. And he said to me, he said, "Look, why don't you do this? And why don't you make the money?" And I was like, "Okay, well, how would that work? How would I get trained?" So the first thing I did, I went to an event. Okay, I jumped in a car. It was over 2 hours to drive to the event. It was like 130 miles, so maybe like, I don't know, 180 kilometers. Drove to that event on a Sunday, got there really early, 25-year-old, went in, had a full day's learning, came out inspired. And that was where my journey started. So just started by picking up some customers. This is where we were living at the time, myself and Laura. We were just living in this little 2-bedroom house here in a little town called Aberystwyth. That's probably going to be a tough one for the interpreters, but Aberystwyth was the name of the town, right in the west coast of Wales. And, our rent there was like 500 euros a month. And all I wanted to make was 250 euros a month so that I could pay my share of the bills. That was it. If I could pay my rent through doing Herbalife part-time, I'm cool. I'm happy. So, just got started getting some customers, retailing, having some fun with this thing. But I didn't really go crazy about it. But one thing I did do, and I promise you this, one thing I did do, I did go to events every month. When we could get face-to-face, if there was a face-to-face event, I went because I just wanted to be around the energy. I wanted to be around the excitement. I was working in a job that wasn't fulfilling me and there was no energy. Actually, it was more like an energy vampire. I'd go to work excited and it would suck all the energy out of me by the end of the day. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. So I go to the events every 30 days to recharge my batteries and get me feeling good again about everything. So this is, like I say, this is just where we were living. This, by the way, was my first check from the company, okay? £1.11. So like €1. Okay, so if you've made more than €1 in Herbalife so far, you are doing better than me. This was my first month. I started in July 2005. I actually signed on my birthday, my 25th birthday. I couldn't afford my business pack. Back then, it was like over €100 for a business pack because it came with quite a lot of products. And I couldn't afford my business pack. So I said to my parents, look, would you get me this pack? You know, we were back like a few weeks from the holiday. Can you get me this pack so I can just get started? And they got me that for my 25th birthday. And like I say, my first check was £1, 11 pence, only €1. So if you, like I say, if you're doing better than that, you're already ahead of me. So just keep having faith. But you know what? I was excited because just to get paid anything made me go, do you know what? This is working. And I remember hearing a line from Jerry Satanovich, who's a Founders Circle member, and Mark Hughes, the founder of the company, he gave her a check for like $6. And she smiled and she was like, wow, thank you, Mark. And he was like, I'm sorry, Jerry, it's only $6. And she goes, no, Mark, you don't understand. If that doubles every single month, I'm going to get rich. You know, and I remember hearing that from her and going, you know what? Imagine if this doubled every month forever. I haven't got anything to worry about, okay? It hasn't doubled every month, but it has increased, and it has increased substantially as well, okay? So that was just where we got started. This was me then going to my first extravaganza in 2006. 2007. I couldn't go in 2006 because, so basically extravaganzas back then used to be in July. So extravaganza was in July. It was in Greece in 2005, the same month I joined. So I couldn't go because I hadn't qualified. The following year, I couldn't go because Jordan was born in the July and the extravaganza fell in the July. Jordan's our eldest son. He's now 16. So the first extravaganza I attended was in 2007. And this was me going, okay, so you can see the blonde highlights. You're all allowed to laugh. But look, take photos wherever you go, right? With the people who inspire you and the people you work with. The picture on the left, this is me with my upline president's team member or executive president's team member now with a diamond in their pin. This is Jeff Williams. And then on the right is actually a picture with me with not my first sponsor, but my second sponsor up from me. And his name is Mark Sterry, who's a millionaire team member. And I am eternally grateful to him for the hours and hours of work and time he put into me, and he invested in me and has been a real mentor. My first upline sponsor, the person who actually is my sponsor now, because I was originally sponsored by my two brothers. Okay, so there's the three of us in a line. But my two brothers, after about 3 or 4 years, they decided that Herbalife wasn't for them anymore. And that's okay. That's cool. But they've left. So then I moved up to other people. Okay. Big lesson, by the way. If you ever sponsor anybody, never quit. Because, you know, if my two brothers had stayed in, they would have president's team in their downline and they would be getting paid the royalty from that business right now. And they're not, which is really sad whenever I think about that because of everything they're missing out on, not just the money, but the travel, the lifestyle, everything that the company affords for us. So the sponsor that I now have, I've never met them, never seen them, don't know what they look like. It's a bit of a crazy one, right? They don't actually live that far from where we are. They may be about 45 minutes to 1 hour away from where we live, but I've never seen them. Okay, so my point to you here is, if it's to be, it's up to me. Okay. So if you want to build this, you will find a way to build this. Okay. You've got to go do it for you and not be looking, you know, if you've got a sponsor who's really helping you, you should be super, super grateful, because some people don't. And then they've just got to work it out and they've got to go upline and upline and upline until they find someone. Okay. So just a few lessons in our story where really, I just wanted to do this because when my two brothers left, it would have been easy for me to have gone as well. But I was like, you know what? I really think I can do something here, even though at that point I wasn't, because for my first 4 years in Herbalife, all I did was retail the products. Okay. Had the great opportunity to meet Jim Rohn face to face. So at my first extravaganza was Jim Rohn's last extravaganza in Europe. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is because you're brand new, please, please, please YouTube him. Listen to his audios. They're unbelievable. They will help you massively. The only sad thing about this photo in here is I'm not looking at the camera. Okay. Haven't even got my eyes open. Didn't know the picture was being taken. But back then, you know, people didn't really have cameras on their phones. This would have been like 2007, 2008. I was a world team member at the time, qualified for this training with Jim Rohn, and you know, the whole day just blew me away. So all I want to keep saying to you guys, the events have been absolutely pivotal and key to my upbringing in Herbalife and helping us grow through the marketing plans. So as Jim would say, if you want to have more, you have to become more. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to improve, you have to improve. If you grow, everything grows for you. Okay. And this is the type of mindset that if you can put that into place and you can live it over and over and over, then you'll have every opportunity. Really do promise you that. So by the way, if you see me looking down to the corner here, it's because I have my slides here, but I need them in English. And just so you know, okay. So if you see me looking away, that's the only reason I'm looking away, just so I can keep up with what we're doing. So let me quickly tell you a little bit about Laura. Okay, Laura would love to have been here tonight, but we have a super busy house. Business is absolutely growing like crazy at the moment, and we're super busy with many calls as well, and many people to support and look after. But Laura's background is very different to mine. Laura's about 5 years younger than I am. And she was working for the local council at the time when we met. She actually used to pay my wages. So when I was working in the gym as a lifeguard, I would take the timesheets down on a weekly basis on a Friday. I'd take them to the payroll department and finance, and I'd give them to her. She would then do that, and then she would pay our wages. And anyway, we bumped into each other one night out in the town, and the rest is history, as they would say. And I'm really surprised because she knew how much money I was making, and she still was interested, right? So that was a big surprise because it wasn't really very good back then at all. But you know, she then started working for the Welsh Assembly government, which is just a higher level than the local council. And she also went into beauty, and she started doing nails. She started doing spray tanning. So she's always had an active interest in, you know, looking after yourself and well-being as well. And then when our two boys came along, she started working for her father as well, and he's a builder. So she ended up working there. But you know, Laura's product result is this: when she got started, she suffers with a few things where, you know, energy is an issue and stuff like that sometimes. So the products have massively helped because she used to sleep all the time, but she also used to fuel her body really poorly. Try to out-train a bad diet. We all know that doesn't work. You know, you just work out, you eat rubbish, you put in bad stuff into the body, and then you're trying to burn it off by you know, running around, playing football, whatever it might be, because she used to play football as well. But, you know, now understands about really good nutrition and loves feeling better. She weighs more actually than she did when she joined, but she's dress size smaller, okay, because we get all those non-scale victories as well, right, where people, they change shape, even though the numbers on the scales would make you go, oh, what's going on there? When you see the centimeters that come off, it's just incredible, right? So those are the results that she's had. And, you know, this is just some of the pictures that she wanted to put in just to show some of the lifestyle, some of the friends as well. You know, the picture on the bottom right is in Paris when we were at an extravaganza as well. And these are just some of our team, but we're really close with our team, really good friends with a lot of them as well. But one thing 100% you need to write down in your notes, okay? You need a reason why. What is your reason why that is going to get you to get up in the morning and get after this thing, okay? And when I say, again, get after this thing, getting after this thing is whatever you want it to be, whether that's a few €100 a month, €1,000 a month, €10,000 a month, €100,000 a month, I don't know. Whatever your goal is, it's your goal. But what is it that's going to make you do this? And if you've got children, that can be a really good driver, right? If you have kids, you'll know what it's like. You know that when you go to bed, you are all they have to depend on. Okay, so they need you to go and do the deal for them. If you don't do the deal for them, nobody else is going to, because they're too small, right? So this was just some pictures we had when I first really started getting going in the business. And what happened, we got to 2009 and I was a world team member. I'd been in Herbalife for 4 years, and Laura lost her job working for the Welsh Assembly government when the last recession in the UK kicked in, well, the worldwide one with the property and the banking collapse, okay? And that, when she lost her job, that meant only half the money was coming into the house because we were making about the same money at that time. And that really scared me into action, if nothing else. So, you know, sometimes we do this business out of desperation as well, and sometimes we do it out of inspiration. So tonight might be a moment where you get inspired and you decide to take action, or there may be a moment in your life where something happens and you become desperate that you need to do the business. And they were 3 and 1, and I was like, my God, we got to go, and I got to bring some money in. I got to go do something. I went and got 25 customers in 30 days. I'd never been so serious about inviting in my whole life. And Invitation is always one of the first things you've got to look at doing. Okay, you start with a conversation, you go to invitation, you go to presentation, and you go to support. I'm going to talk about those a little bit later on, but this was our why, and this is why I got going. And like I said, I put 25 customers in 30 days. That replaced Laura's income. And then I made a really conscious decision that I wasn't going to allow anybody else to dictate our financial future ever again. I was like, right, I'm going to go after this. We're going to build this thing. We're going to build a team, and we're going to see where we can get to. Okay. 18 months later, we hit the global expansion team. 18 months after that, hit the millionaire team. Okay. And at that point, then it was 2012, I was able to leave my job. Okay. This is, by the way, a picture of the boys now. They're a lot bigger, right? So they're 16 and 14. This was actually in Greece on the vacation, the Herbalife vacation this summer. Handsome little fellas that they are, and they're growing up super fast as well. But this then was 2012 and qualified for our first Herbalife vacation, right? It was to Mauritius. We got to Heathrow Airport. Herbalife had chartered planes. The seats had Herbalife on them. There was only Herbalife people on the plane. We took off from Heathrow. We flew for, I think it was like 10 or 11 hours straight into Mauritius. And we had a week in Mauritius. And I'm telling you now, there is no holiday like a Herbalife holiday. And what happens when you go on a Herbalife holiday is you feel like, I can never go back to a normal holiday because the standard is so high. Or if I do go back to a normal holiday, what it's going to cost me is probably what I was making per year in my old job. Okay, so we started to move through the marketing plan, like I say, within 3 years from getting serious, got to millionaire team 2012. That allowed me to leave my job. And then, you know what, the next few photos are really just showing you guys some of the places we've been with the company. So this was Thailand. The following year, we went to Thailand. We were able to take Laura's parents with us. And what was great was they do a lot of babysitting. They were looking after the kids a lot while we were going to events. We were traveling. We were doing whatever we could. So we wanted to reward them by taking them to Thailand as well, so that they could have a really luxury holiday, take them around the world, somewhere they'd never been before. You know, you'd wake up in the morning, there'd be elephants walking around the swimming pool. This resort is incredible. And this is actually the resort that will be for next year's vacation in Thailand again. So wow, incredible. If you're going to Thailand, what a brilliant resort you're going to be going to. Then, you know, while I was on this holiday, I learned something. So this is Mark. This is the person who I said has been my mentor throughout our business, right? And if you look just below his feet, that is the no diving sign. Okay. And this is what I learned from Mark. Mark's always about, you know, break the rules. Not the Herbalife rules. Don't break any laws. That isn't what I'm saying. He's talking about breaking the rules that are put upon us in life, where people go, you know, you can't do that. That won't work. This thing, you know, only for the people who got in early, all this type of nonsense that we hear, right? Because in Herbalife, about 80% of distributors normally overtake their sponsor in the marketing plan. Those who make it to the tab team and beyond, they normally 80% overtake their sponsors, right? That's a big number. So it's not about who got in first. It's always about who does the most, who works the hardest. So this was Mark showing me, like, guys, just break the rules. This is one of the guys in our team. This is Matt Elliott. He's a 7.5K millionaire team member. And Matt's in same bridge, showing off a little bit. Let me show you the flag post on the side. And Jeff, my upline pres team, he saw this. And as he came walking along, Jeff goes, hey, Matt, let me show you how the president's team do it, right? And the example he was giving to me here was, listen, guys, work smart, not hard, right? Or if you're going to do it, at least do both of them, work smart and work hard. But Jeff was like, you need to work smart. This is why you're not president's team yet, Matt. And I've told Matt, by the way, until he hits president's team, I'm going to show these same pictures all over the world. Once he hits them, then I'm going to get rid of them, right? But they're staying in my presentation until you can see like the similarities. It's just the perspective of how you look at it. And then, like I say, Thailand was unbelievable. Speedboats out to private islands, dinner, 5-star. You can't even imagine how great it was. And on this holiday, we were 4-star qualifiers, 4 frontline active world team that really got us a very, very high level just high level everything for it. But even if you're just like the most basic of qualifiers, you're getting the most insane holiday you can even imagine. This is then in Greece, back at probably back in like 2015, 16, with Founders Circle member there in the bottom corner, and Alan Lorenz. And Alan taught us so many things. You know, Alan passed away, say 18 months ago, something like that. And, you know, he taught us so much, and we're so grateful for the lessons that we had from Alan. And, you know, I say just more holidays, unbelievable memories. This was going to Vegas with the guys. We went to Los Angeles for the Honors, which is a huge worldwide Herbalife event they have every year. And you've got to be normally at least like 7.5K millionaire team and above to go. We left Honors. We went straight to LA, went around the Grand Canyon, hired a helicopter. Look, all of this stuff is not to impress you. It's to impress upon you what is possible. Okay. So I hope that comes through on the translation, but it's not to impress you, but to impress upon you what is possible for you. Okay. And then just some family holidays as well. Dubai, Herbalife vacation cruise around the Mediterranean. I think this is Santorini, you know, and just, like I say, making the best friends on it. But if you don't get to the events and you don't build the business, you never make the friendships. And I'm telling you now, the friendships are so important. And then this is actually all our team. So the last vacation, this is our team at the vacation, all the guys who qualified that went. And, you know, we just had the best time, and we are so close as a group, and a group of friends as well. We love hanging out around each other. We love being around each other. And, you know, I really hope for all of you that you're able to build something like that over time. And then, you know what? There's plenty of room for everybody on the president's team. So during 2020, we were able to hit the president's team. It really been a huge goal for so many years. And, you know, sometimes I wasn't sure I could see it, you know, and then, you know, you go, come on, have a talk to yourself, get back on track, speak to your mentor, get back in the game, go get one more customer, go get one more new distributor. Let's just go again. You never know what's going to happen. And little by little, and as the team build and get belief and build their own confidence, and they start chasing their levels in the marketing plans so you have people underneath you hitting get team, you have people underneath you hitting millionaire team, you have people underneath you hitting president's team as well. Then, you know, it raises you up. So rising tide raises all ships, but there is plenty of room for everybody. And then you get your name put into the wall of president's team members in Los Angeles. There's about 3,000 names in that wall for the 42 years. But there's plenty of room for everyone. So don't be shy. Come join us. So how can you start to get your business moving? Because I appreciate this is only for people who've done maybe 500 points, and some of you may be very new. Some of you may have been around a little while. Some of you may be a little stuck. Some of you may be flying. Okay. And here's what's important, right? When business is going great, the meeting needs you. When business isn't going great, you need the meeting. So whatever happens, you all always need to be at the meeting, because everybody needs everybody to help each other and pull each other up. Okay. So I just want to run through some of the basics that I've always kept as a fundamental for me. And you've all heard these before, but, you know, use the products. Really use the products. I said at the start, use them like your financial future depends upon it. Get super serious, get on them like glue, and get the best results you can. Then, you know, wear the badge, wear the brand, wear whatever you need to wear, right? But be out there loud and proud, okay, about what it is you do. You know, that you want to make the world a healthier and happier place. I don't mind what badge it is you wear or what branding it is you wear, but, you know, get out there every day and have that about you, and use it as an opportunity to do this next bit, which is talk. Okay. The reason for using the products and wearing the badge, by the way, you wear your results every day as well. Okay. So, you know, be conscious you're wearing your results, and then talk to people and have the most simple conversations, and help that to lead just to an invitation. And then what do I do if I want to make a simple presentation to someone? And there'll be more to it than this. So plug into your upline. I just want to show you the very basics. Okay. But one thing for sure, whatever your mentor and your upline are teaching you, do that. Trust me, they've been in longer than you have. Even if they've only been in 1 minute longer than you, they've still been in longer, right? Trust them and, follow the process. But some of the things that will never change are around the basics. Show people product results, show before and after photos, let people see the results. Okay. The next one, then let people try the products, let them taste them. Because I'm 100% sure that when people try a smoothie, they have this like face. They start off, they get it in their hand. By the way, this might lift off an immune booster in here, and they get it in their hand and they start pulling this face before they're about to try it for the first time, like they're expecting it to be bad. You know that face? And then they have a taste. Oh, that's really nice. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's how people are, right? They're a bit strange, but they think it's going to taste bad. When they taste how great it tastes and you've shown them the results, it's pretty much already over the line. Okay. So show results, make samples, tell stories. These things are absolutely critical for you. And what's a simple little flow that you can follow for this, if you don't have one already, is start with a conversation. Just get into conversation. It doesn't matter what you get in a conversation about. Hi, mate, those are nice trainers. Are they Nikes? Whatever. It's got nothing to do with Herbalife, right? But it starts a conversation. And then, it might lead to you talking about, what do they do? Or do you wear those trainers to work out in? You work out, you're looking fit? All right. Yeah. What is it you do for a living, mate? Oh, right. Okay. You're a builder. No problem. Hey, and then they might ask you back what you do. And then you can lead to an invitation. Invite them to something, whatever that might be that you currently do. I don't know what it is you do. It might be shake parties. It might be wellness evaluations. It might be fit camp. It might be nutrition club. I don't know. Whatever it is, it might be that you invite them to look at a presentation online. I have no idea, but whatever it is you like to invite them to it. Give them the presentation, let them see it, let them try it, and then show them the support that's around it. And there is a little bit more to it than that, but that's the most basic ways I can show it to you. Okay. So for me, find a mentor. Okay. These are my upline, as I've said already. Take pictures with your upline as much as you can. All right. Because you never know how long they're going to be around, what's going to happen. And it's always an opportunity to share. Okay. But trust them. That's one thing you can definitely do. They've been there, they've walked the walk. Okay. They've done the hard yards already. So, just trust those guys. And I do, if Mark even now is like, hey, this, I'm like, you know what, you're right. If Jeff, same, or Debbie, his wife, or David or Jane, I'm like, yeah, you're right. So, really, really, really just trust in those guys, because in life, you're either the passenger or the pilot. Okay. And it's all about choice. Wherever you want to go. I really do believe it's just about a choice. When you make that choice or you make that decision that you are going to move through the marketing plan, anything is possible. Okay. The picture on the left was us at Extravaganza in, I want to say 2015 or 2016, this picture on the left-hand side. And I don't know if you can see my pointer, but this is Scott and Nicola. Scott and Nicola are now 15K, one diamond presidency. By the way, we were all 7.5K in this picture. Jim Cusack, 30K. Eddie and Chloe, they're 15K. This is Sarah Green and Kev Green, 40K president's team. Dan Nemachis, 20K president's team. And we were leaving the event and we were like, guys, we all got to go to the president's team. Come on, let's do this. We can do it. And it didn't happen quick for all of us. And actually we were the last ones to get there. But you know what? If you're going to run a race and be last in, this is not a bad one to be in. The race to pres team, as long as you complete the race. And then the last extravaganza before the last few years. So this was 2019. It was kind of like, for me, last time I'm stood, you can see the rope here, which stops you. So the president's team sit in an area where it's red carpets, it's tables. It looks great. There's aloe on the table. There's lift off on the table. They're well looked after. They've got their own separate lounge. And, for like 15 years, I'd looked at it and gone, I really, really, really want to be the other side of the rope. So I just kind of stuck my foot on the red carpet, but I'm still in the millionaire team seat and took the picture over the top, just to kind of say, look, I want to really, really, really make this happen. And I'm not coming back to another extravaganza, not as a president's team member. And then, you know what? I don't know. Fate is crazy, right? We had this 2-year break, but we did make it by the next year. By the September of the following year, 2020, we were president's team. We qualified in the August. So if there had been an extravaganza in 2020 which was supposed to be in Sweden, we would have been able to get on the stage and walk it then. But you know what? We needed to wait until this year. And last month we went to Barcelona for our very first president's team member. Guys, it really is everything they say it is and more. You know, I haven't even got the time to explain to you what it's about. You can see Michael and Martina. Many of you will know Michael and Martina. I believe they were your special guests last month. Michael and Martina have become unbelievably close friends of ours over the years. Michael was one of those mentors. He isn't in my upline, but he was someone I'd heard about. He was someone I'd seen on YouTube because when he came to the UK, which was probably in about 2012, 2013 to do an event, there wasn't so much going on Facebook. Instagram didn't even exist. And I remember watching some videos on YouTube that he'd done about his workouts and everything else. So when he came to the UK, I was just like, I just want to meet this guy and I just want to find out a little bit more about him. We met, we became really good friends. Me and Laura went to Michael and Martina's wedding, then maybe 3-4 years later. And it's just become a really great friendship. And that's, how I've ended up being on this call this evening, is because of the friendships we've made by going to events over and over. You can see here just with Dr. Luigi. And I say it was our first president's team. That was the president's team dinner. And then of course you get to go hit the stage. You get to walk across the stage. You get to go with your friends. The bottom left-hand corner is at the Herbalife party with some of the team as well. And, just unbelievable, guys. I really, really want you to just go for it as much as you can off the back of here and really achieve everything. But here's some fundamentals that have made the difference for us. Okay. And I'm just going to share these over the next few minutes and then I'm pretty much done. Okay. For this evening's call. And I'll be handing back to Jan. But first of all, okay. And I am going to make this bigger on my own screen that I've got down here just so I can read this really clearly with you. Okay. So this is called the circle of doom. Okay. Circle of doom. I'll book my ticket when I find someone to take. Okay. So that's the first part of mentality that some people have. So what happens is you're not committed. So you're not focused on finding anyone. Okay. So guess what? You don't find anyone. Therefore, you don't attend the event. Therefore, you have no learning, excitement, any ideas, and you don't grow. And this circle continues because then the next event gets launched and you go, do you know what? I'll book when I find someone. But because you're not booked, you're not committed to finding anybody to go and you're not focused on it. But if you were booked and you were like, right, I've booked, now I need to find some, you have a real focus and you have a deadline that you're working towards to make that happen. Okay. Let me show you the circle of success. The circle of success is very, very, very different. The meeting is launched. You book your ticket. You go, I'm in because I want to get to that next level. My goal is this, and I know to build up, I need to start at the bottom and I need to make sure I'm at the event. Okay. So now you've booked, you're committed. So you're focused on finding people to take. So guess what happens when you become focused on finding people to take? You find people to take. Okay. And this is what happened for me. Once I grasped this and I understood it, I book me, then I go find people. Not I try and find people and then I book. And then attend with guests, which brings new blood. Okay. So guess what? You learn, they learn, you become inspired, they become inspired, you become excited, they become excited, you grow, they grow. It's a super, super exciting little journey that you go on. And then this loop happens again. But guess what? Now it happens with you doing it with people. So you commit to the event, they commit to the next event. Both of you are now focused on finding people. You go around again. Now you book, they book, those guests book. Now everybody's focused on finding people. And over time, as you go through this circle and around this cycle, it's incredible what happens. Okay. And this is, I swear to you, no word of a lie. I did this over a 3-year period, started with just me. Some months it was just me. And I was angry at myself that it was just me. And I'd leave the event. I'd maybe had someone who was going to come and they dropped out, or I turned up at their house on the morning, banged on their door. They didn't get out of bed. I still went to the event. And then I got some people. And then those people got some people. And over a 3-year period, then we had nearly 150 people that were in our team in one training event per month. And that's what shot us through Millionaire Team. Okay. So it can happen. But, you know, and I did all of this part-time. It was just on the excitement and energy and the basics of the business and bringing people in. Okay. So you can do that. So I just want to give you a little roadmap for yourself. We call this peak to peak. Okay. So you can see these mountain peaks that are here. You're super fortunate, right? I think it's the 22nd of this month. You have the 30th anniversary of the Czech Republic, right? I hope I've got that date right, but the 30th anniversary. This is going to be an unbelievable and incredible event. And I would inspire you and hope to just ask you, if you're not booked, find any way you can go. If you've got to find childcare, find childcare. Who would you ask if it was like life or death? Who would you ask to look after the kids? If you've got to get time off work, here's what's funny about work. Most people are doing Herbalife because they want to leave their job, but then they use the excuse, I can't go to the event because I've got work. And I'm like, no, what are you saying? You're trying to get out of work by doing Herbalife. Who do you need to ask? Do you need to go to your boss? Do you need to find someone to cover your shift? Is there a way to get that weekend off? You know, other reasons might be, I don't know how I'm going to get there. Here's the good news. We're not going to ask you to walk. There will be other people coming. There may be ways where you can share lifts, speak to your upline, say, look, I'm committed to coming. Let's figure it out. If sometimes it might be money, you might go, you know, I'm not sure I can afford to get to that event. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You probably can't afford not to be at it. Okay. And that's the truth of the matter. And I know that can be a really difficult one because I promise you, I've been there. I've been there in the early days when I was like, I don't know if I can afford to get to this event. I don't think I've got the money to pay for this event. And you know what? I went and got the customers to make sure I paid for the event. I'd go and pick up, 2, 3, 4 new customers, use the profit off those customers to pay for my ticket, pay for my hotel. I'd go on a really tight budget for that weekend. But let me tell you what this is going to do. It's going to take you there. You're going to get the learning. You're going to get the education. You're going to get the inspiration. That's going to leapfrog you to the next peak, which is going to be kickoff for you guys in January, I believe. Okay. Then it's going to fire you into your LDW next summer. And then all roads lead to Krakow in Poland. Okay. And our extravaganza, 20,000 people will be in that arena. And I promise you, you don't know where your business could be if you just put in the 11 months of work that's needed between now and then to really achieve what's possible. Okay. So I just want to hope that that all makes sense for you and that you're really, really clear on the journey that you've got ahead of you. And in between all of those events, you may have your local regional meetings, okay, which you can use to build your numbers on. You may have your local Herbalife opportunity meetings, which you can build upon. You may be doing Shake Pack. You may be doing whatever it is where you're bringing communities together, fit camps. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. But stuff you can build on to take more people to the next event, more people, and more people. Okay. These are just some of the places that we've been so lucky to travel to with Herbalife over the last 15 or so years. Well, not even 15 years. This is like the last 12 years, because the first 5 years didn't really get to travel that much because we just hadn't had the opportunity. But as you move through the marketing plan, more traveling opportunities become available. And there's more than this on here as well. I just haven't added some of it. Okay. But this is where we live today. Showed you the picture of the house at the start where we were living, the little 2-bedroom, 2 up, 2 down. This is a 6-bedroom house. It's just outside Cardiff. So we relocated to Cardiff about 6 months ago. Cardiff is the capital of Wales. It's actually only a few miles from where Gareth Bale's parents live. If you know anything about football, you know who Gareth Bale is. But, we're really, really, really fortunate. And this is, like I say, where we live today. So just in closing, guys, for you all, if you understood residual income, you would walk through a brick wall to get it. Okay. If you understood residual income, you would walk through a brick wall. Once I understood the marketing plan, once I understood residual income and how that could pay me forever going forward, the work I do today can pay me in a year, can pay me in 5 years, can pay me in 10 years, 20 years from now. I was like, right, okay, because what I know with the job, the work I do today pays me today. If I don't work tomorrow in a job, it doesn't pay me tomorrow. But in Herbalife with residual income, you can keep on being paid ahead and ahead and ahead. So guys, thank you so much. I hope that was of some value to you all. And I would just love to hand back. I'll just stop the screen share. I'd love to hand back now to your MC for this evening. Jan, are you there? I'm hoping Jan is there.
Justyn, it was unbelievable. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your business tips. And thank you for your big inspiration. And see you again in Lisbon.
Yes, yeah.
And have a great evening.
Will do, thank you.
Okay. So now I switch into Czech. Tak, já věřím, že jsme na českém kanálu. Ještě jednou bych chtěl poděkovat Justynovi za jeho čas a za jeho inspiraci. Já věřím, že pro všechny z nás ten trénink byl podnětný a přínosný. A já v posledních 5 minutkách bych sám ještě chtěl sdílet pár slajdů, takže já si tady dám šerování obrazovky. OK. A navážu volně na to, o čem hovořil Justyn. Dámy a pánové, všechny cesty vedou směrem do Krakova. V Krakově